All right, gang. The attendance tonight was 18,471. It was a sellout. 8 of 8 pay-per-view sellouts this year ever since we brought fans back. Fight of the night was Munoz and Cruz. Performance of the night is Silva, Tayavasa, Kai Kara, Pena, O'Malley, and Oliveira.
That's all?
Giving out some fucking money tonight.
Well, I guess that kind of indicates your thoughts on the fight card tonight as a whole, right? I mean, it looked good on paper.
I mean,
attendance.
in every way that an event could be a home run and be successful, this was. It was an incredible night. The fights were amazing. Huge upsets. The first round of the main event, I mean, those two didn't feel each other out. They didn't anything. They came right out and just started going. You know, the first round was incredibly fun. The whole fight was incredible, and it was an amazing night.
Yeah. Want to get your thoughts on Charles Oliveira as the champion, right? I mean, I guess if there was any question whether he was deserving, he answered it tonight. And especially, with the story that it's always been that he can't get tested. He doesn't have heart. And it seems like he answered any of that tonight.
Yeah, I never heard any of that stuff, but you got to stay off the fucking internet.
That's how I make my living, sir.
Yeah, I always thought he was a tough guy. He's had some bumps along the way. Same thing with Poirier. But like I said at the press conference the other day, they're two blue-collar, hard-working guys that have grinded their way to the top. Yeah, I mean, he went in tonight and beat Dustin, and Dustin is, a very, very tough, durable, well-rounded guy who has had a ton of experience, and it was a big night for Oliveira.
Have you had a chance to speak to Dustin at all yet, and have, an idea of where he might go from here? Obviously, this is a tough break for him.
No, I mean, we talked after the fight, like up in the octagon for a second. I just saw him outside when I was walking out here, but there's nothing to talk about right now. He needs to go home, relax, enjoy some time with his family, enjoy the holidays, and, when he heals up and all the bullshit blows over, we'll figure out what's next for him. There's no rush. We don't have to decide anything tonight.
I know you don't normally like to say, who's the number one contender, but you said coming in like, hey, Justin Gaethje's definitely next. So as we sit here, Justin Gaethje definitely next.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I know it's kind of out of your hands, but Brazil as a possibility, I mean, obviously we know what's going on in the world, but do you have any indication if 2022, like, it might be possible for Charles to defend his belt against Gaethje down there?
I have no idea what's possible in 2022. I don't give a shit. I could care less.
Nice.
Texas, Florida, Apex. Florida, Texas, Apex. Abu Dhabi, Florida, Texas, Apex.
Schedule done.
I don't give a shit if anything opens again. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not even thinking about it. I could care less.
All right. I did want to ask you about the co-main event. Obviously, a shocking result there. Julianna Pena, somebody that's been a thorn in your side to get her title shot. She delivered tonight. What did you think of her performance tonight?
Yeah, Julianna is a person who always believed in herself and believed that she could win this fight if she got it. And I mean, you heard it at the press conference. You heard it the months leading up to this fight, and she did it. She did it tonight. It's one of the great things about the sport. It's what makes the sport so incredible. When somebody's that big of an underdog and nobody, I mean, how many times have we been at these events where when the fight's over, everybody's looking at each other like, holy shit. I mean, it happens all the time here. It is literally what makes this sport so incredible.
There were a lot of questions coming in about Amanda, like how much longer she wants to keep doing this. Maybe it's her family life kind of the way she wants to go. Did you get a chance to speak to her and see if, she's considering it all, hanging it up, or if she wants to come back and get it?
Listen, it goes right along with all the storylines. She's been on top forever, regardless of what you think. She's made shitloads of money. She has a lot of money. And, she has a baby now, family. These things change you.
Yeah. If she wants a rematch, do you think she is deserving given how long she was on top?
Yes.
Nice. Last thing for me, I just want to ask you about Sean O'Malley, another fantastic performance. I mean, he's kind of laughing about being the unranked champ and all that. I imagine he's probably going to have a ranking now, but I know you said coming in, we're not sure if he's ready for the top guys yet. Did he show you tonight that he's ready for the top guys?
The guy he beat tonight is a real guy, a very real guy. He did it in spectacular fashion, you know. And I know, you know, when you talk to him, two things: he wants to get paid, and he wants to fight higher, higher level competition. It's like we're gonna have to pay him, get him some fights. Yeah.
Dana in the middle over here. Just want to get your thoughts on Dominic Cruz's performance. You know, had a rough first round there, almost got knocked out, but came back and looked great. What'd you think?
I agree. He won fight of the night tonight. Yeah, you know, Dominic Cruz still has it, man. It's impressive.
And earlier in the night, Erin Blanchfield had a dominant win against Miranda Maverick. You know, young star in the making, it looks like. What'd you make of her performance?
Yeah, listen, anybody you ask me about on this card tonight, tonight's card was amazing. It was an incredible night of fights. You know, it was huge. Pay-per-view was huge. The gate was $8 million. The biggest non-Conor McGregor gate ever at T-Mobile.
And Kayla Harrison was in the crowd. Does Amanda Nunes losing, does that kind of change anything in terms of bringing her in?
Yeah, these are those things, man. For like a Kayla Harrison, the Amanda Nunes fight was huge. I mean, if they would have faced off, it would have been a massive, you know, mega $1 million fight. I know the dipshit there. What's his name? The dipshit that thinks he knows about this business. Darren Ravel, yeah. Dipshit Darren Ravel said that Amanda Nunes, you know, we were screwed. She could never be a star and all these other things. Let me tell you what, if Amanda Nunes had won tonight, the Kayla Harrison fight would be one of the biggest fights that you would have ever seen, you know? Stay out of our business, dipshit. You know nothing.
I just want to get a little update on somebody else in the bantamweight division, but Jermaine Durandamy was recently taken out of the rankings. She's still on the roster, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like it's my place to say why. We'll leave that up to her. Somebody can ask her why she's out of the rankings and what she's going to do.
All right, thanks, Dana.
It's not my place. It's hers. It's personal stuff. It's not professional.
Dana, just to ask you, Adesanya put a tweet out in response to UFC saying that the fight was on with Whitaker. He put a cap out, you know, meaning a lie. So
he said what?
He put a icon of a cap, you know, an avatar like a cap, meaning a lie. He said it was a lie.
It means you're lying in the millennial war.
Right. I had to ask somebody what it meant.
I'm confused.
Adesanya's basically said the fight's not on. He's saying the fight is not on with Whitaker.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Hey, Hunter, do we have a signed deal with Adesanya for Whitaker?
He's still under contract. We're working on the new deal. He's under contract.
No,
No.
Hunter.
Do we have a signed contract for him to fight Whitaker?
He signed a contract. Adesanya signed it? Because he said it was a lie tonight on Twitter.
Are you asking about the Calvin agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have in writing that he is committed to fight with.
Okay, so he put out that it was a lie. Okay.
Listen, you don't want to fight Whitaker. Okay, then I guess we'll find another fight.
Okay.
Who gives a shit?
I guess not you.
Who gives a shit? I definitely don't give a shit. You don't want the Whitaker fight to be on? Okay, then we'll find something else. Why would we lie? When have we ever fucking lied? This fight's coming up. We lied about it?
I didn't say you lied.
20 fucking years have we ever lied about, making a fight? Some fights are harder to make than others, but, I don't think we've ever lied about making a fight. Mm-hmm. And why would we lie about that fight?
Again, I didn't say you lied. He said you lied. I asked you about it.
Got it.
I just want to ask you also about Julianna. And when you watched the first round, if I would have told you at the, a couple minutes later after we froze that first round that Julianna was going to win that fight, would you have believed that?
Say that again?
At the end,
my head's still all fucked up from Adesanya.
I'm fucking you up all night tonight here. At the end of the first round, if I had said to you, Pena's going to win this fight, would you have believed it?
Well, yes. I mean, I think that anything is possible. I mean, we've seen it so many times. Anything is possible in this sport.
And what do you make of her, confidence and where did that come from? Because you look at it, she hadn't even won back-to-back fights in about 4 years, right? I mean, so where does that confidence come from in a person?
I had my kids in some jiu-jitsu tournament when they were little, and the first time that I ever met Julianna Pena, she walked up to me, and introduced herself and told me who she was. And she said, I'm going to fight for you someday, and I'm going to be a world champion, when I met her. So she's always been like that, you know, and yeah, she did it, man. She did it in spectacular fashion.
Dana, what do you do with Cody Garbrandt now? He drops to flyweight, hoping to find some new life, and then he gets another brutal first-round knockout loss.
What do I think about it?
What do you do with Cody moving forward now?
I don't know. That's a good question. You know, you move down a weight class and get knocked out down a weight class. Yeah, it's a rough one.
And finally,
you know, and he's been clipped a few times now, and you start, you know.
when Kai was in here, said, I'm not going to fight again until it's for a title shot. He's calling for the winner of Brandon Moreno and Figueiredo.
Who said that?
Kai, the guy, Kai Carfer.
He's not fighting again until he gets a title shot?
That's what he says.
Okay.
Hey, Dana, right here. I want to touch back on Kayla Harrison. Notably, she was shouted out on the broadcast. You are talking very glowingly. When we spoke to her at MMA Awards, she said she's still a free agent. Would you say that that might be changing soon?
That she's a free agent?
Yeah. Is the UFC, is the way you're talking and shouting her out, is the UFC making a more serious play to sign Kayla Harrison?
Yeah. I mean, I said it last week that we were talking, and then she said it this week that we were talking. We're talking.
I want to ask about the prelims with Julian Robertson. Priscilla Cachoeira had it looked like she gouged her eye when she was trying to get out of
I
the rear
didn't know
naked
that.
choke.
Ioli told me that. I didn't know. I didn't see it. Saw a picture, but I got it all from Ioli. I didn't see that.
So no decision will be made until you guys review that internally?
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know anything about it, except for what Kevin told me.
Just want to touch on real quick. You're obviously going to Anaheim next month. The UFC does have the Crypto.com sponsorship. Staples Center, Los Angeles. I'm going to just say it, my city. You know, is the UFC planning to come to LA specifically soon?
I don't know. There's nothing in the works right now.
I hope so. Thank you.
Dana over here to your far.
Hey, hi.
Hey there. So this is the second year that the company has had to navigate through COVID restrictions around the world. Two questions. One, what went better for you this year in terms of kind of managing the restrictions around the world? And the second part of the question is, how much will Apex continue to play as part of the venue strategy going forward?
Yeah, I didn't hear the first one. What was the first question?
Yeah, the first one was how much easier was it for the company to kind of navigate all of the COVID restrictions this year as opposed to the first year when it happened?
Oh, it was much easier. Obviously, there were many more places open, and including New York, that I thought would be impossible at one point. But yes, the Apex will still be used a lot as places open up that are fan-friendly, fighter-friendly, UFC-friendly, however you want to call it. We'll do fight nights and pay-per-views there. And if not, we'll stay in the Apex. Like I said when I started this thing, we can do Texas, Florida, Abu Dhabi, and Vegas. I'm fine with that. We had an incredible year this year. It was amazing. We can do this forever if we have to.
Dana here in the back. So in the main event, during the broadcast, Joe Rogan mentioned it looked like for a moment that Charles Oliveira was digging his fingers into Dustin Poirier's gloves, and I was wondering if that was something that you were made aware of, and if so, what's your thought on it?
I don't know anything about that either.
If that were the case, would that sort of change the way you view the fight?
That he was digging his fingers in his gloves?
Yeah, that he
that's
was...
something the ref would handle in there and take care of. Yeah. That's got nothing to do with me.
All right, fair enough. And as mentioned, huge upset in the co-main event. There have been some monumental upsets before. GSP Matt Serra, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm. Where do you rank Pena versus Nunes in terms of all-time upsets?
It's a big rematch if she wants it.
Would you say that it's the biggest upset in UFC history, or perhaps not?
We being invaded or something?
It's been like this all night.
What's going on here? I'm deaf as it is. What's the question again?
Would you say that it's the biggest upset in UFC history?
Fuck, I don't know. That's a really good question, actually. It's up there with Sarah and GSP. It's up there.
Dana, down to your right, if you could. Dana, down to your right. I was curious, when you're watching the second round of Pena and Nunes, and they're in a firefight, and Nunes has never lost a firefight like that. What's going through your head? Are you saying that this is a bad idea for Nunes to be in this? Or what is going through your head
when
when
they
you're
were
watching
doing
this?
it, I said, she looks like she's getting tired. I thought Amanda looked like she was getting tired. And I haven't talked to her yet either.
And were you surprised by not only the victory, but just how Julianna won? Because I think most people thought if Julianna was going to win, it would have been with her wrestling. That's her bread and butter. She outstruck Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, I think that, they were in the pocket there, and they were both throwing. She was definitely landing more, but Julianna's face was getting busted up, too. Julianna was taking some punches, too. But it doesn't matter how strong you are, how big you are, how hard you hit. At the end of the day, in a 5-round fight, it comes down to who's in better shape. And you know Julianna trained her ass off for this fight. Did Amanda.
Thanks, Dana.
Hey, Dana. Question for you. With Amanda Nunes losing tonight, does this result change your opinions if you ever want to see a trilogy fight with Valentina Shevchenko?
I wasn't loving that thing anyway going into this fight. So that was never really in my plans.
Lastly, I heard that Michael Chiesa got in some sort of scuffle. Is there any truth to that during that fight?
No. He did not get in a fight. How do I say this without embarrassing this guy? He had a little bit too much to drink this evening. When she won, he freaked out and tried to jump into the octagon and fell down on his face, cut his eye and busted his eye open, then was arguing with the police that he needed to get into the octagon and be with her because that's his teammate. They dragged him out, got him outside, and we calmed him down in the back, and I went back and talked to him for a minute, and we're all good. Good?
Dana, down here to your right.
Yep, go ahead.
How would you assess 2021? Because obviously you've had to navigate through the whole COVID situation and whatever. How would you assess 2021 in general?
It was the best year we've ever had. It was the best year we've ever had. We smashed. I mean, we smashed the pay-per-view record. 8 for 8 sellouts. All those shows that had fans. We broke the all-time pay-per-view record this year for most pay-per-view buys, and tonight we smashed it. I mean, we didn't just break the record. We smashed the record tonight. Incredible fights this year. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It was an awesome year. Incredible year.
And if you could pick a highlight of the year, what would it be?
My highlight for the year. That's a tough one. I don't know. Right here, right now, I don't know the answer to that. There were so many things that happened. Good stuff. All good stuff this year. No real negativity, no bad shit. We kicked 2020's ass, and then we rolled right into 2021 and did the same. You know? And, yeah, it's been awesome. Cool? You guys done with me? Thanks for everything this year, you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a happy holiday.